Right, hey guys, welcome to our very first Weplay. We are reviewing a landing page for a very, very popular game and seeing if we can teach some stuff about web design and what you guys can do for your own websites. Alright, so to start with, we have the amazing landing page at the beginning. So first thoughts, Meg, what are your thoughts on this?
Alright, so first of all, blown away by the colors. It's rare to see yellow used so well. That doesn't make my eyes bleed. It's very, very distinct, and I love how it makes the call to action for the pre-order now button just really pop. Also, a really big fan of the embedded video, not utilizing like the usual square shape. And also one big thing is like with the image of the main character, having him look over towards the video is a very popular conversion technique, which drives people to look at a very particular area of the landing page. So like overall, super impressed so far.
Great. And Kay, what about from a web designer perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's functional, it's easy. As Meg said, the CTA is the focus, I guess, of that whole landing page. That's the first thing. They want you to, they want your eyes to lead towards there, and they do that very well. They also want you to pre-order, obviously, so making it that prominent on as soon as you get to the website is really good.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I guess just from a design perspective, as Meng said, the color yellow is used really well. They've got a really bold color palette that is something that a lot of people like at the moment. It's very like on trend kind of look, the cyberpunk thing. And I think they've actually kind of set the tone with that. They've really created this interest in this kind of visual style again. But yeah, leading on from what Meng was saying, the way that the character's eye draws you to the video, and then that's a very common design technique called a Z readout. So basically that's just the way that you're naturally going to be drawn to kind of scan down a web page. So it's, a very simple thing that they've employed, and they've done it well. They've just kept all the information kind of in that configuration, and then the last thing in the Z is basically the CTA. And I like the nice little glitchy hover effect. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so moving on now to the next part. So we've got some pull quotes from famous video game sites. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, but what do you guys think? So I guess we'll start with Meng again.
The glitch effect is so cool. I love that they've kept the consistency of the colors. So that blue is pretty sure that's the same blue that's used as the play button on the embedded video. The heading for this really stands out. The real you is not enough. It's quite strong as well. I feel personally attacked. And just gorgeous image like that. Just looks like such a high def image. And that is the same person from the landing page, isn't it? That's the same character. I'm assuming anyway.
That's the main character.
Yeah, quite like this section. It's very simple. I think I would prefer maybe if that image maybe did something, so some hover effects. So like, for example, if you hover over the billboards, maybe they glitched or moved. That would be really like a really cool design thing. But apart from that, yeah, it's quite just not bad.
Yeah. Yep, Cal.
Yeah, they've done the testimonial slide really nice. It's hard to make testimonial slide as interesting, so just giving it that little kind of glitch effect as it moves keeps in with their branding and fits the design, and yeah, it just makes something that's usually boring and at the bottom of your website a bit more interactive, I guess. The bottom image, yeah, it's really nice. Shows, I wonder if that's in-game footage or if that's just concept art. I'm struggling to read the text though, not the real username, the one underneath. I think it's a bit of a readability issue there with how thin the text is on such a strong background.
Yeah, I would agree. That is just when you're dealing with that kind of level of contrast with yellow and black, you really do need to have the black. If it is the secondary color or the color of the text, really, it does need to be bold to be readable. And yeah, Meng, from what you were saying, I think that just an idea that would have worked really well was having maybe kind of a parallax effect in this image, because it does have such a depth of field in it. That would have been nice to see them maybe play with, slicing this image up and kind of creating that impression that you can actually see off into the landscape. But it's still a pretty amazing image. Okay, next part is this is fairly, I think we'll keep it just to this part. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, fairly standard stuff. What are our thoughts?
It's pretty simple. Just, I guess, shows the main features of the game. I would like if once you hover over the images that they do something, like play a small 5-second clip of whatever's happening there. But yeah, I mean, it does what it's meant to, I guess. Shows you play as a mercenary, live in the city of the future, steal the implant that grants eternal life. Basically explains a little bit about what the game's about, gets you interested, gets you hyped.
Yeah, I've got to agree there with Kale. Would have loved if there were like little short gifs. For example, like the first one with the chick, maybe like popping around the corner and the car driving off, or maybe like the last one with the guy like headbutting the screen or something. Just little animation like that, that'd be really cool. The white on black text is much more readable
Yep.
than the black on yellow previously. And I also think it would have been interesting if they also made the yellow bars utilize the same sort of cut-off shapes as the previous buttons. I think that might have been a nice touch if they did that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even here, like just a subtle little cutout would have been a nice touch. Yeah, like it's very basic. I guess though with this game, as we all know, it is a game that's not a lot of known about the actual meat of it. So they are kind of holding their cards close to their chest. But yeah, on another landing page, you would expect this section to link to, other articles or other sections on this landing page that would then further explain the concept. But here you're just getting a bit of a sneak. That's the purpose of the page, but that's fine. It works well. And then we've got a pretty, basic newsletter form here. Not much you can say about it. It's got all the, it's got, standard, let me just put it in my, if you guys want to send me an email, send it to this one. Oh yeah, right, I forgot, I've got to click the box, and then that works. But yeah, it works, simple. Just from a design perspective, having it in this very heavy black section of the website, using the yellow for the contrast works really well.
Yep.
Just to draw your attention straight to it, because it does become, when you're scrolling down, at least at this part, the most visually interesting thing there. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on the newsletter form.
I like the flashing line and enter your email address. It keeps in with that whole cyberpunk feel, because that's what you get in your WordPresses and your command lines when you need to type something. So
very true.
It's a good way to show that you can, even though it's got enter your email address there. It's another way of people going, oh right, I can type in this area.
Yep.
I like that they've kept, again, the consistency is so important for me, so the fact that they've used that same yellow to make it really pop out as well, fantastic. And they've also employed that, that cutout shape, so not just like a straight rectangular shape. One thing I will say is when you put in your email, and it didn't automatically pop up, the black of the submit button didn't automatically pop. That aha moment of, oh, I need to tick the I would like to receive blah 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 blah, the confirmation box. I would have liked if they made that more obvious. So either have the confirmation box already checked, or have like how when you start typing email, how it has like that red helper note to say like, oh, you have to tick this before you can submit, sort of thing.
Yeah. And also, let's be real here. Sneaking in that you sign up for the newsletter together with the A's confirmation thing, kind of a bit not nice. Like you have to do both. You can't just be like, I'm 16,
Yeah,
but I don't
this
want
whole
to
area is for sign up to the Cyberpunk 2077 newsletter.
That
so
is
if you're typing it there,
true. And I guess you have to be a certain age. Yeah, you may as well. Okay. Now, carousel. I'm going to say one thing. I don't like these buttons. I like the animation, I just don't like the color of them. Though I suppose, I feel like this white is meh. But that's all I'm going to say for now. Other than that, you guys go.
I mean, it's a pretty standard media section showing screenshots, wallpapers, and concept art. There's not much you can do. The hover effect over the images is a nice little touch.
Yep.
Does it do anything when you change pages?
Sorry, that's just nothing.
No, and then if you click the arrows left and right, does it do anything?
Not those ones. No, I don't actually think they have anything. I don't even think these. Oh, anyway, there we go. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so yeah, go. Oh, okay, yeah, so it's got quite a nice effect. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really do with a media section. It's just there it's there so you actually look at the pictures, so I'm trying to add too much stuff to it, but they've found a nice balance.
Like the shape of those buttons. It kind of reminds me of SIM cards for some reason. But I have to agree with you in terms of I'm not so confident on this like off-white sort of light grey color. Because for another thing is it makes the writing hard to see as well for those buttons, for the screenshots, wallpapers, and concept art buttons. It does make it a bit hard to see. So that may be another like readability issue. I'm a huge fan of like the transition animation. So like when you click through or click right or left on them, how they have like that transition animation. I love that. That's a fantastic touch.
Definitely. Another
thing is, when you click on any of the images, they give you those different dimensions so that you can download the assets, the media assets, and I think that's fantastic because any good landing page will give like any type of value proposition, and giving something for free is always like a fantastic way to encourage people to like either want to sign up to a newsletter or to pre-order in this case. So providing that for the users is really, really good. Big ticks for a landing page. Big ticks.
Yeah. All right. News section. Another fairly standard one. Just going back on the color. I like this blue. I would have liked to have seen it used a bit more throughout the other sections of the page, but whatever. It's, I kind of probably would have preferred there to be some images, but at the same time, that does contrast well with this image-heavy section that you've just been through, so I think those two parts play off each other quite well. And, carrying on that shape with the design and kind of branding elements, I guess, of the game, adding those little simple touches that just make it not just a bunch of boxes with text in them. Should we click on one as well, just to see what?
Yeah.
There are other pages.
Yep,
of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. So it's kind of a
standard blog.
Yep, standard blog. They've got lots of great imagery, so they can use that. And yeah, just keeping it simple. Having the socials on the side is nice. If you've got a short article, it makes sense that you can just share it as quickly as possible. And yeah, good stuff.
I'm a big fan of like the slide-ins for the links at the very bottom. So when you go down and all the links kind of slide in, I love that. It's just really subtle, but any kind of small animation like that, I'm a huge fan of. Where the text kind of slides in. One thing I am confused about is the use of the two different colors for the links. So they've got like the blue for some, and then they've got yellow for others. So I wonder if that would work better if they just kept with just the yellow or just the blue, but that's more of like a I wonder how that would work sort of thing.
I mean, I think in the context of this site, because it's got that kind of tech glitchy thing going on, it works, but I think on another website it might feel a little bit like someone's just tried to cram a bunch of different little special effects in there, and it seems kind of like they're overdressing their site.
Yeah.
Like if a professional website had something like that, you might be like a bit like, okay, cool, like I get it. Okay, so I mean, from here, okay, I guess we're at the bottom of the webpage now, so it makes sense. We'll go to the responsive. Whoop. Okay, there we go. So let's start from the beginning. That's not working. No. Minor technical difficulties. Should we maybe choose a bigger one? Because I feel like this isn't like...
Yeah, choose like an XL.
Ooh. No, not an iPad would do that. Okay, cool. I can change it in post. Now, yeah, so this is a really nice vertical rearrangement of that header image and, going straight down. I mean, I guess it's not as clear that the video link is... obviously, the YouTube button's pretty obvious, but probably would have been nice to actually see Keanu again. And yeah, like here, obviously they fixed that readability issue, which is probably something they could have done in the desktop version as well.
Yeah, see, the white on black is just works so much
Yeah,
better.
and at the same time, I guess they didn't want to cover that half of the car, because I was like, you could have just extended that yellow box down, but...
True.
Eh.
Very true.
Yeah,
Okay,
what's going on.
Yeah, so this part, fairly standard, cool. Great, yeah. I mean, this is a very responsive site. Oh wait, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, because and that's what it's all about, being responsive, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it actually does look more aesthetic like this.
I agree.
Oh, okay. Then turn into it's actually it's quite nice. The news
Yeah,
section
it would.
is
I
good.
kind of almost would have preferred the media and the news section to be like next to each other on the desktop, but I feel like the news wouldn't have had as much attention given to it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay then. So that's the website. So what score are we each going to give it out of 5?
I'll give it a 4.5. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. A few small readability issues, and like just with that one section. But apart from it, it does exactly what it's meant to do. It looks good. It fits in with their branding. Everything's smooth. It works really well on responsive. Bonus points for having Keanu Reeves in the video on the homepage, of course.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, it's a beautiful site, and I'm super pumped for the game.
I think I'll probably give it like a 4.7. It pretty much ticks all the right boxes for a landing page, right? Everything conduces to like driving people to their main point of action, like call to action, and it's the only button in the entire landing page that's red, which is the pre-order now. So fantastic, I love that. They provide a value proposition. The way that they've done the testimonial slide is so simple. I love that. I love that they didn't give like a huge, like massive, like snippet of the entire reviews, which is what a lot of people tend to do, and I'm not a big fan of that.
It's actually screwing up.
Yeah, no, it's because you've gone from responsive back. You need to refresh it in desktop.
Oh.
Sometimes that can happen. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just a
Never
weird
mind.
little bug with how Chrome handles responsive. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, and also, I feel like they could have gone that one step further with the design for the second section. Just, having some sort of animations or hover effects, or kind of like utilizing a parallax almost design with what you're suggesting. And also with like the 3-column images, same concept. I felt like they kind of just went with, oh, this is simple and it's good, and they kind of just stopped there. And probably just the readability on some sections, so the black on the yellow. I think another thing as well that they could have done in that section is if they bolded certain words, so that could have been a really useful technique. So when your eyes skim over that text, you pick up on like the most important aspects of it. And maybe, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you could bold like open world, action adventure, power, glamour. Just those
Exactly.
those keywords in that small phrase make them stand out. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I didn't think of that.
And the one last thing I would say is that heading for the newsletter section, the always first, that the messaging kind of gets lost on me. I feel like they could utilize something a bit more effective there, like be the first to know, or like, get updates as they come, or something along those lines. Like always first, I don't know, is kind of lost on me in that aspect. But apart from that, I love the consistency. Consistency on a landing page is like so vital and it's so important, and they've done that really, really well.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 4, personally. Only in that it was just something I've noticed because we are talking about it as a landing page, and just something I feel like most landing pages, maybe it works just for this one because it's, different market, gamers, different way, but I feel like with most other landing pages, you would have that CTA again somewhere on the landing page. You wouldn't give someone just one opportunity to do that, and they've really only got it once. They don't have it anywhere else. So that's my one gripe with it. Only in terms of like, as an example to other people creating landing pages, don't do that. But the one that they do, like this screen in itself, is pretty much anything you actually need to sell the product. You don't need anything more because it's showing you the product and then telling you that you can get it there. So, yeah, just for that reason.
I think you're right. If they just left this one page as their landing page, I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't need anything else past it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah. Alright, I guess we are done for this one. Yeah, have a fun afternoon, guys, and we'll catch each other later.
Stay safe.
All right, thanks, Isaac.
See you guys.
It's alright, thanks.